Hi everybody, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Laurence and I post art videos once a week. And today I have the most exciting video ever, a sketchbook tour. The feeling of finishing a sketchbook is just the best. So I'm so excited to show you everything that I created in this one. One thing that I like is to see everything that I've done, but the other part of it is that it represents my year, or the amount of time that it took me to finish this, but in this case, it's a year. I started this sketchbook in August 2022 and I finished it in August 2023. When you watch this video, it's September already, but I finished it in August, so a full year in this sketchbook. So for me, it represents a lot of memories, it represents growth, it represents interests that I've had in this past year. It represents a lot of self-care because for me, art making is a form of therapy almost. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. First of all, this is a Strathmore Mixed Media sketchbook in the series 500. The size is 8.5 by 11 inches and it's amazing quality. It's a bit expensive. I don't exactly remember how much it costs, but it's so worth it. There's a lot of pages in there, so you know, it took me a year to finish, so it's a good investment. No, it's not an investment because it doesn't gain value. For me, it did though. But anyway, it's a hardcover and I put some stickers on top. These three are from Lee Elixen and the rest I bought in some random stores. This one I bought in a coffee shop in a small town in Quebec. This one is from the company Figs. They sell scrubs, healthcare, clothing, and shoes. So yeah, and the rest are from little shops here and there. I don't know the artists, so. And in the back, same thing. I have a little crying heart. All right, so we're ready to start. Whew. Oh, August 22nd. Oh my God, it's exactly a year. At the time of filming this, we are August 22nd, 2023. Wow, this is a sign. Let's write the date. It's a sign that today's gonna be a good day. So this is the first painting that I created on August 22nd, 2022. It was based on a picture that I took on vacation. We went to the beach one day and my goal was to be looser. And I really liked the result at this time, but I think that I was able to achieve even more looseness. I remember that I used acrylic inks to create this and maybe some Neocolor too on top. I'm not exactly sure. Then we have these two paintings that are a similar concept. I wanted to represent the nature that we have in the city because being in nature, going on a hike, or just being in the nature is good for our mental health. This is a well-known fact, but I was thinking that some people don't have access to nature. We don't necessarily have a car or the money to go on a weekend trip. So I wanted to focus on the nature that was available and accessible to us on a day-to-day basis for people who live in the city. So I decided to omit everything that was man-made. I didn't want to paint it. I wanted to keep it very simple and make the nature like the main focus of these paintings. Here too, I used some acrylic inks and I really like them. Here I started being a bit looser. I think here I discovered some quick drawing techniques. So I remember this one. Oh wow, that was a long time ago. I started this one on a power outage and I just wanted to draw quickly. I had no expectations because I couldn't see anything. I was painting with a flashlight and I loved the result. I finished it on another day. I had light then, but I love the result. I used my Neocolor tools. I used some watercolor pencils and some watercolors. And I think that here is the first time maybe that I mixed Neocolor tools and watercolor pencils. This is the same concept. I put some leftover colors like this on the paper and then when it was dried, I drew quickly on top. I think I only used Neocolor tools for this one. I did it super quickly and I love the result. It's so loose, and I think here I kind of discovered something new. Here's a similar concept. So the background is painted with some leftover colors. Whenever I paint with watercolors and I have colors left in my palette, I'm just going to put the colors on a page, and later on I use that page to create something else, and the colors that are already on the page become the background. So we get something like this. So this is a landscape. This is based on a picture that I took during a hike. Still to this day, I think one of my favorites. And here also I discovered something new, because I remember I didn't know what to do with this big page full of color. And I think at some point I was just like, well, I'm gonna use this picture. It's not the best, and I'm just gonna do something. And I like how I left the background bare. It's not something I would do these days. I usually try to cover the whole background, but maybe I could try experimenting with this style a bit more. Then, oh yeah, we get a bit of a different style. These are based on travel pictures. This one I took, and this one my dad took many years ago in Sweden, I think. And this one, it was in British Columbia. I did this one with Neocolor too, and I think some watercolor pencils, maybe a little bit of watercolor. Same thing for both of these. We had colored backgrounds with leftover paint, and I love this one so much. This is when I introduced the lavender trees. I think that in this sketchbook, I did a lot of landscapes, a lot of trees. I'm still struggling with how to paint leaves, but we're experimenting. I quite like this one. I quite like the looseness of the leaves, and I like the fact that you see through the forest. I like the fact that some areas are way more detailed than others, and some areas are not even drawn in, like the rocks here. I just drew the outline and that's it. Yeah, I love this one. Oh, then I think this is my least favorite spread. I remember at that time I had just gotten some watercolor pencils. I think that before that time, I just had a couple colors, maybe like 5 colors. And I decided that I liked them and I wanted to experiment more. So I got a Derwent watercolor basic set. So I think 24 colors. So I just tested them here and did a little drawing with them. But yeah, it is what it is. Then same thing. I think this is my second least favorite spread. I did the same picture twice. I like this one much better. This is a family photo taken by my dad again in the same Sweden trip. Yeah, let's just move on. This is my third least favorite spread. These were all made, I remember, these were all made during the same weekend. All my least favorite spreads. Maybe I was in a type of mood, or I don't know. I was still experimenting, and these are not styles that I would do again, I don't think. I remember this one. I tried to paint this still life many times. I think I tried 3 or 4 times. I always wanted it to be looser and looser and looser, and I think this is the loosest that I got it, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not the best with still lifes. I don't do a lot of them. I mainly do landscapes, so I think that these are 2 unfamiliar subjects for me, which is maybe why I don't like them very much, because I haven't developed my style for these subjects. Anyway. Ooh, now we're getting somewhere. This is a drawing that I based on a picture that I took in Curacao when I went on a trip. I think was it last February? I don't know, around that time of year. And I wanted to abstract the rocks. There was the ocean right here, and then you had some rocks and some cacti growing on top and some vegetation. So I wanted to abstract the shapes. I think this is interesting. I don't think I have done anything like this after, but I have used this concept of abstracting shapes to do some tree leaves and stuff like that. So nothing exactly like this, but I have taken from it, and that's what experimentation is. Oh, so I put a piece of parchment paper in between the pages. I thought I had removed all the parchment paper before doing this video, but I forgot this one. Just because when I use Neocolor 2, it can rub off on the other page. I don't know if parchment paper is the best for conservation though, because I'm a bit scared that it changes the colors, because this is acid-free paper, but if I introduce something with a lot of, I don't know, chemicals or acid, this defies the purpose of having an acid-free sketchbook. If you know what I can do to prevent spreading, I know I could use fixative, but I'm not a big fan of fixative. But I'm also thinking if I'm not using the sketchbook anymore, I'm not pressing on the pages while drawing, then maybe there's less chance of transfer. I don't know. So this is another drawing that I did during the same weekend as these ones that I don't really like, but I really like this one. I like the simplicity of it. I like the fact that all the trees have an unnatural color and there are different sections. Yeah, I like that. Here I went in a coffee shop. I was inspired by Sandy Hester to go draw in a coffee shop. Her drawings are so pretty, but I think again this is a subject I'm unfamiliar with. This is why I don't really like this drawing, and all the coffee shop drawings that I did, I don't really like them. Yeah, I haven't found my style. This is another drawing that is based on a photo that my dad took in Sweden. This is the first drawing in which I only use my watercolor pencils. I did a whole video on it. I love it so much. I love the light, I love the colors. It was so fun to do and it didn't take that much time. Oh, these are the other two coffee shop drawings. So we have this one and this one, which is the one I like the most, but still, I don't really like them that much. This is the first self-portrait that I did in this sketchbook. I figured I need to have at least one self-portrait in my sketchbook. I think in this one I have two, maybe three, I'm not sure, at least two. I was feeling very psychedelic, so this is me with an attitude. This is another painting that I did based on a picture that I took in Curacao with the ocean, the beach. It was Casabao Beach, Curacao. It was a very beautiful beach with some rock formations as well. So pretty. This is a drawing that I did in Curacao. I went to like a public square and I sat there for a few hours and I drew. It was fun. Another painting of the same rock formation as this one, but in a different style. And a bit more close up. Here you see a little bit of the water, here not at all. I think I used some acrylic inks, some Neocolor tools, and some watercolor pencils. This is a winter landscape that I did with some liquid watercolors. So I used the Dr. P.H. Martin and I think Vermilion. I wanted to be able to recreate a winter landscape with a color that you wouldn't associate with winter. And I wanted it to be apparent that it's a winter scene, that there is snow. So I chose the red and I think I did pretty good. I really like the final result. Then two more landscapes from Curacao. I remember in this picture, it was not as pretty as this. I think this was a big parking lot. The colors were a lot more gray and brown than this. This I kind of transformed in a big rock, but I think it was just sand. And I kind of added some depth that I don't think we have in a reference image, or at least not as much as this. Here it looks like we're standing on top of a mountain kind of, and we really have a view down the valley with a lake that I totally invented, with little boats that I totally made up as well. And then it goes back up in the mountain. I think in the reference image it was way flatter and you had a little bit of mountain in the distance, but it was mostly flat. But that's what reference pictures are for. You can do whatever you want. You just get inspired by them. And then this is based on a picture I took after a hike. I did a solo hike in Curacao. There's like one mountain on the whole island, pretty much. One big mountain at least. So I did that hike. It was so hot. Then this is a place I pass in front every day when I go to work. It looks like an abandoned building, and this is a picture I took last year. This year the leaves grew into it even more. It still looks abandoned. It was so fun to draw and paint. I had a lot of fun using some unnatural colors, and you can see the background is painted. This is a painting that I did following a Skillshare class. So this is not my reference image. I did it using acrylics, and it was fun because it allowed me to be looser with my acrylics. I liked it. I don't think I have a lot of acrylic paintings in this one, contrarily to my other sketchbook. Oh, I'll link my first sketchbook tour in here so you can see the difference if you're interested. I think you'll see a very big difference in styles and subjects. So this is a painting / drawing based on another travel picture. This was the Big in Rimouski. This is my second time painting this one. The first one is on a little piece of paper, a plein air painting that I did that was way tighter, much different style. So I decided to paint it again, but in a way different style. So that's what happened. And then I did the same thing with another plein air painting that I had painted maybe the year before. I decided to redraw it, and this is what we got. And then I did this first one again, but in another style. Yeah, with some blocked in shapes. So I kind of redid the blocked in landscape that I said that I didn't redo. Well, I redid it once. So it was just fun to be able to keep the same reference picture, but doing it in a much different way. I really liked it. Then I was like, well, I should do a portrait. So I kind of just made up this portrait. I didn't have any reference picture. Yeah, I just made it up, and I'm not mad at it. I wanted to keep it really simple. Then I did this landscape, which I love so much. I remember I had this painted background for the longest time. I did not know what to do with it because the colors are very bright, very vibrant, and it's not a uniform background. So there's a lot of white space, so a lot of contrast in it. So I didn't know what to put on top that would not be too distracting. So I think I did the perfect reference image because you have this big lake in the middle that I did not paint on top, so you can really see the background shine through. And then we have the same thing going on in the sky. And then here we have a beautiful landscape. And this is the first time that I use my full set of Neocolor 2. What a fun experience. This is another landscape that I drew for the second time in a very different style. The first one I painted with acrylics on a canvas, and it was very tight. I like it. But in my attempt to loosen up, I wanted to redo it in a different style. So that's what I did. I used my Neocolor 2s and some watercolor pencils and a neon pink color pencil. Here, I'm not exactly sure what I used. I know that I used some Neocolor 2. I think I used some acrylic inks. I wanted it to be very loose, and it's kind of dreamy. It looks like a scene from a nightmare. It's based on a picture that I took in Japan in 2017, so a long time ago. But I have great pictures that I could draw. Maybe I should revisit those pictures and select a few reference images. Ooh, yes. This is another painting based on a picture I took in Curaçao. So this landscape is the same as this one. It was the same place, but the picture was taken in a different angle. So these colors match more the real colors, except for the purple. There was no purple, but it was very sandy, very earthy colors, not this lush and vibrant green. Yeah, so I did this one using watercolor pencils only. And I really like the monochromatic color palette. I remember it was a surprise. I did not intend on choosing a monochromatic color palette, but this is what happened, and I'm glad. I like it. Then I did this one in New York. I was at my uncle's place, and he has a lot of bonsai, so I just drew one of his bonsais using watercolor pencils. And I like it, but don't like it that much. I redid this bonsai another time, but I gave the painting to my uncle. These two images I did in New York. This one in Central Park, it was a plein air drawing. And this one in Washington Square Park. also a plein air drawing. For both of these, I used watercolors and watercolor pencils. Let's talk about this one first. This is based on a picture that I took at the Brooklyn Botanical Garden, but I painted this when I was back in Montreal using, I think, only watercolors, maybe a little bit of watercolor pencil, but mostly watercolors. And this is a painting / drawing that I did in the car on our way back from New York. This is kind of a build a landscape type thing. So I just took some elements here and there during our ride and I built this landscape. So this is a made up landscape, but there is some elements that I saw on our way back. Then this, to be honest, well, they don't all have to be good in a sketchbook. You can have drawings that are just meh. I like the mix of color though. This is a tree, just the outline, the silhouette of a tree on a painted background. That's it. Nothing much to it. And then this is just so funny because this is not my style at all. This is not the type of subjects that I paint also, but it's just a vision that I had of a funky, wonky horse in a kind of nightmarish situation, maybe. So, yeah, I saw this picture in my head and I did a quick sketch and then I decided I would paint it in my sketchbook. It's so cute. The rest of the spreads I kind of did recently. I did not realize how productive I was in the sketchbook. I think I saw the end coming and I was like, go, go, go. This is a landscape that I made up. It's based on a reference picture, but I modified it a lot. I made this video in which I selected 4 reference pictures that I was not inspired by, and my goal was to make them inspiring. So I did a lot of quick sketches to find a way to use them in an artwork. So this is what happened with one of them. So in that video, I did this image, but I did another that you'll see soon, not on camera. I did this little painting. It's based on a picture I took during a hike. I'm not that excited about it. I think I'm over this color palette. The background was painted again, as you can see. Then, ooh, I did this one. So this is not my original painting. Like, I did this painting, but I kind of recreated a painting by another artist. I just wanted to copy the style, just to try to understand how that artist was able to create a landscape that was this abstracted. So I decided to try to pick similar colors and try to redo that landscape. So the artist is Maki Nakamura. She was born in Japan, but she lives and works in Berlin, Germany. And the image that I tried to recreate is this one. Kind of, you can see the resemblance now, can you? So it's not exactly the same, but I tried to recreate it. So I wouldn't say that this is my original creation. I would never sell an image of this. It was just a technique exercise. This is another drawing that I did based on that uninspiring reference image video. This was one of the images. There was this big tree that I wanted to paint that I didn't really know how to paint it. Turns out I didn't really paint it. I just painted the background yellow. Then I drew on top with acrylic inks. Yeah. Then, oh, this is my second self-portrait. I think this is the second and last one. So I think we have 2 self-portraits in this sketchbook, only using blue watercolor pencils. This, oh, I could say that this is a similar style as this weird horse. I think that we can feel the same nightmarish emotions. I really wanted to try some things out, so I did. I don't know, I feel like there's something interesting. I wanted to focus on textures a lot. I don't know, I like it. Oh, this might be one of my favorite spreads. This is based on a picture that I took while we were doing some paddleboarding on a lake. At first glance, the picture that I took was nothing special, but I love this simple landscape. I love how loose I was able to be. I feel like I'm getting close to my goal here. I love it so much. I used watercolor pencils for the most part, and then on top I used a little bit of Neo color tools, I think. I used a little bit of charcoal as well, and maybe some watercolor pencils, but mostly this is watercolor. Then here I did this weird landscape. You might have seen that video already. One day I decided that I wanted to go through all my art supplies and select some art supplies that I hadn't used in a long time, that were either some old favorites or just some art materials that I wanted to test out to see if I still like them or not. So I kind of identified some colors, mediums that I wasn't really sure about, and I decided I would draw a landscape with them. So this is what happened. I think it's very interesting. This style is not there yet, but it's something I want to experiment with a little bit more. So now we have the same landscape side by side, but in a different style. So this is based on a picture that I took again in the Brooklyn Botanical Garden. First I painted this one. I wanted it to be very loose. I painted it mainly with watercolors, and then at the end I added a little bit of charcoal on top, that orange that you see. And then I thought that I wanted to do it again, but focus more on textures this time. So I did this second one. It's a lot simpler. I don't know which one is my favorite. I feel like this one doesn't have enough contrast, but it's simpler. There's something a bit more illustrative to this one compared to this one. I like the textures in this one. I don't know. They were both very fun to do. Then I went on a camping trip and I took a picture of the little beach, and I decided I would try to paint it in a very loose way. And I think I did pretty good. Then I did these two. This one is build a landscape type again. On our way back from the camping trip, I was in the car and I was just looking at the landscape, and I built this landscape. This is a made-up landscape made of things that I took here and there while looking outside my window. And then this is the second to last painting. This is a painting based on a picture that I took on that camping trip. We did a little hike and I decided to paint it. And then we finish off with this one. This is another picture that I took on that camping trip. It's on the other side of that beach. There was some bushes here and some trees in the background. So it's like on that side. I love it. I think this might be my favorite painting that I did, just because I feel like it embodies all the things that I learned, all the development that I've had in this past year is all in here. I feel like this is way looser. The colors are more controlled. You can feel the moodiness. I discovered this year that I like to do negative painting for trees. So I did that here. I was able to keep it loose and abstracted, but still have some elements pop through. I just love it. So that's it. This is my sketchbook. Please let me know what you think. Which one is your favorite one? Do you see a progression or not? I would love to know your thoughts. And now I'm going to start a new sketchbook. This is so exciting. Let's see if it takes another year. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope that you enjoyed. And yeah, comment, like, subscribe. And I will see you hopefully next week. By the time you watch this video, it's possible that I have to take a little break because I'm away for work right now. Just know that I will be back. I will read every comment. If I don't answer, it's because I don't have access to internet, but as soon as I do, I will write back. Okay, thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. See you soon. Bye.